They have no purpose of evasion in their oath.
This is the first time na wala si former President Rinaldi Provincials.
Opo.
May I ask for please sa
wala may discussion about his absence. Maybe siguro it was already expected because of his situation right now. He's currently detained in the detention unit of the ICC. So there was no any other feeling except accepting the matter of fact that he will not be present in the oath-taking this afternoon.
Vicky, of course, inaabangan namin si former President Duterte na maka-take oath. What happened after June 30 sa Davao City where the Vice Mayor Baste Duterte will take over as acting mayor? What happened? What's the status now?
Okay, si former President and now Mayor-elect Rodrigo Duterte, he has until noon of June 30 to take his oath. In the event that he doesn't take his oath on June 30, then it will be Vice Mayor Baste who will be acting mayor of Davao City.
Pero ang tanong kasi ng Davaoenyo Mayor, kung makapag-take oath ba anong chances noon, Vice?
Oo. Ma'am, mag-in-English lang po, ma'am, ha?
Okay.
Para makuhaan siya sa international board. Oh, sorry, ma'am. At sa pangutan na, ma'am.
English mo?
Sige, ma'am. Sorry. Wala mo namin, no?
Napag-usapan niyo ba yung oath taking, yung sabi mo is hanggang meron pang afternoon of June 30?
For former president, no? No, I have not discussed recently with former President Duterte about taking his oath, and I think this is a matter that has been discussed between former President Duterte and his lawyers.
Thank you, Ma'am Ruth. Ma'am Kat, go ahead, ma'am.
Ma'am, kanina earlier po, Congressman Ungabet as well as of course Vice Mayor Baste said yung pagkapanalo ng Hongkong is parang proof siya na malaking support ng mga Davaoenos. Do you think it will translate to 2028 for your candidacy?
Well, it is difficult to speculate, no, whether the midterm elections will affect the 2028 presidential elections. But I can say that the midterm elections for Davao City was an affirmation of the leadership of Mayor Baste Duterte and former Mayor Rodrigo Duterte, and as well as Congressman Isidro Ungab, no, where he was given as his third term for his second set as representative of the 3rd District.
And last na lang po, are we optimistic that former President can still take his oath and somehow go home after the ICC?
As a Davaoenyo, yes, I hope and pray that he will take his oath because I voted for him. I wanted him to be mayor of Davao City. So that is my prayer. But we really do not know what are the discussions between lawyers and former President Duterte. So we wait. If he takes his oath or he doesn't take his oath, then we will have a situation where Davao City will have an acting mayor.
Thank you, Ma'am Kat. Argent, Relator Ma'am Jenny.
Hello, ma'am. Earlier today, you filed your cover affidavit before the Office of the Ombudsman to answer allegations doon po sa elections use ng confidential funds ng OVP at saka any details that you can as ng
the content?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. With regard to the content, it is best if you can talk to my lawyers. For my ombudsman cases, my lawyers are Attorney Paul Lim, Attorney Clifford Chua, and they are assisted by Attorney Michael Powa. They can best explain the contents of the answer to the order of the ombudsman to give an answer, no? So as not to siguro for me to affect their defense strategy. So they are the best people to explain what can be publicly known and what cannot be stated in public.
Earlier today, may lumabas ng reports na accordingly, Australian government has declined to host former President Rodrigo Duterte should the interim release letter. Any reaction po nakakagag kayo ng information?
Oh yes, I saw an email by a certain Hasna of the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, yes. An email of, yes, a certain Hasna of Department of Foreign Relations and Trade. Yes, and first off, I'd like to clarify that the defense team of President Duterte never reached out to the Australian government to discuss about his interim release. There is no application of former President Duterte for interim release in Australia, and the submission of the lawyers of President Duterte, wherein there were two countries indicated in the document, albeit redacted. I have to confirm that the two countries, none of which is Australia. So I do not know why there was an email from a certain Hasna about the interim release of President Duterte to Australia. This has never been discussed with the Australian government. There was never an application with the Australian government, and there is no intent as well to apply for interim release with the Australian government.
Follow up, aside dun sa two countries na redacted lang, may other countries po ba na express na intent na in case mag-grant to interim release, na needs na hanapin sila here?
Ang na-mention ko lang naman sa previous interviews ko is that merong list of countries na sinulat ang defense team ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kung saan nila iniisip na pwedeng mag-apply ng interim release. But hindi yung lisahan na yon ay hindi in-applyan ng interim release. So it is wrong to assume na because there is a list, there was an application for interim release to all the countries. No.
Last na po, ma'am, yung email was directed to mga sa counseling FTRID.
Ang email, I don't know saan galing ang email, but I got a copy. Yung email ng Australia ni certain Hasna of the Australian Foreign Relations and Trade. I do not know where and to whom it was addressed, but I got a copy of it, and I do not know as well on what basis she was able to say that there is parang it is not discussed with the Australian government and they will not allow interim release in Australia because in the first place there is no application for interim release in Australia.
Okay, Bill Montalvo, ma'am, News 5. Mike, please.
chance. VP, VP, yung statement mo na ayaw mong itigil o bobo na ang nasa administration. Sinabi ng palasyo na emosyonal ka at may pasaying pa na when emotions are high, intelligence are slow, but never speak out of anger.
No, I'm not angry. I'm just stating a matter of fact. Hindi ako emotional. Nakita niyo naman ako kung paano ako maging emotional. Hindi pa ako umaabot doon. I'm just stating a fact that really kulang-kulang yung brain cells ng mga taong nagsasalita para sa administration.
Follow-up, VP. Diversionary tactics mo lang ng Indian statement mo na ikaw ang front-runner sa 2028 election at gusto kang pabagsakin ng administration.
Oh, of course not. So, let's just say na diversionary tactic ko yung yung presidential elections for 2028. Hypothetically, ganun yon. So, lumipat tayo sa ibang rason kung bakit nila ako atakihin. What they are doing is what is called political scapegoating. Kapag walang nangyayari sa administrasyon mo at walang ginagawa yung principal o yung presidente, ang gagawin nila is magtuturo ng ibang tao. Kapag merong question sa kawalan ng ginagawa ng administrasyon, ang gagawin nila ay magtuturo sa ibang tao para nawawala yung tanong at para nagugulo ang mga tao. That is a classic political scapegoating. Example of which is noong lumabas yung tanong sa blanco sa national budget natin. Mainit na ang tanong, bakit may blanks sa national budget? We are operating on an unconstitutional budget. Anong nangyari? Nagkaroon ng extraordinary rendition kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Idagdag na natin doon ang personal scandal ng member ng First Family doon sa United States of America. Anong nangyari? 3 days after, merong nangyari na extraordinary rendition o pagkuha kay dating Pangulong, sapilitang pagkuha kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte dito sa ating bayan at dinala siya sa the Netherlands. Noong sumabog ang People's Initiative, yung kagustuhan nila na i-amenda ang konstitusyon para mapahaba yung kanilang mga termino at para burahin ang opisina ng Vice President at lumipat tayo sa parliamentary form of government kung saan Prime Minister lang ang ini-elect at hindi siya by popular vote, by members of parliament only. Anong ginawa nila? Nag-file sila ng impeachment dahil mainit na yung mga tao. Doon nagsimula yung we are not for sale. So that is political scapegoating. Yung wala kang ginagawa, so magtuturo ka na lang ng ibang tao para makalimutan yung kawalan ng proyekto, kawalan ng programa, kawalan ng kaayusan sa ating bansa. So, assuming hindi totoo yung sa presidential election sa 2028, klaro naman sa timeline kung paano nila ginagawa yung pag-atake ng kanilang political opponents para makalimutan ang kanilang mga kabalbalan.
Last question na, VP. Sinabi ng Malacanang kung totoo daw official business ang mga biyahe mo sa ibang bansa, obligasyon mo daw na magpaliwanag sa bayan kung ano yung naging accomplishment mo dito at kung sino yung nakasama mo sa biyahe at sino-sino rin ang gumasto sa biyahe.
Opo, yan yung example ko sa inyo na bobo talaga. 'Di ba? Hindi nga official business yung... Kasi... Kailangan ko pa ba mag-explain? Sige, kailangan ko mag-explain nito, no? Kasi ang kausap mo medyo mahina, 'di ba? So, sige. Kapag gumagamit ka ng pera ng gobyerno, yan yung official business. Kapag hindi mo ginagamit yung pera ng gobyerno, mag-leave ka at yan yung personal. Okay? Kapag gumagamit ka ng pera ng gobyerno, official business yan, kailangan mong mag-report. Magsabit ng report. Kapag kapag personal siya at walang gamit ng pera ng gobyerno, hindi mo kailangan mag-report. So, ganun lang yan simple na kailangan ko pa i-explain. At ito po yung example ko o solid proof na ano ba ibang term ng bobo? Pero yung mga mas magandang term ng bobo. Iba pa. Ano daw? Sa Bisaya, sa gani, ng bubo gani? Bubo. Ay. Pero sa kuan, sa Bisaya slang, sa ang bubo. Oplok. Mas worse na nasa bubo eh. Yung medyo maganda pakinggan, pero nagsasabi ka pa rin na bobo. Ha? Slow? Slow kasi hindi siya bobo eh. Slow. Siya hina lang, no? Anong pag iba?
Bobo na lang.
Diba? Yan yung example ko. Kita nyo, kailangan ko pa mag-explain. Nakakahiya na yung ginagawa nila. Sa totoo lang, as a Filipino, I am truly embarrassed with what is happening in our country, especially coming from the administration.
Last two questions, VP. Yes, Makaini, please, Mr. Mayor.
VP,
Okay.
Good afternoon, baby. The last election, it was, I think, Sabo, Sara and Bongo. Ngayon may lumalabas na Sabo. That's Sara and Bongo. May possibility din talaga, and you top the latest survey as you the contender of the presidential race, and also Senator Bongo as your vice or running mate. Is this possible? And what's your comment on this?
Well, sinabi ko kanina, no, may nagtanong din niyan kanina, galing kami sa Igacos. Masyado pa kasing malayo yung 2028 para natin basihan yung surveys. Ang pinakamaganda kasi na survey na basihan is yung kung pag nakikita mo na kung sino yung mga official candidates ng certain position. Yun yung pinakamaganda na tingnan na survey kasi kandidato na sila lahat. So maganda na yung spread ng numbers. So masyado siyang malayo for 2028 and hindi natin alam kung anong mangyayari bukas. In fact, by my experience, and we saw this as well with in 2016 with former President Rodrigo Duterte na very last minute yung decision niya. Yung sa akin naman was change of not really a change, no, but I ran for a different position. So antayin na lang siguro natin yung mga surveys kung saan nakikita na talaga natin kung sino yung mga kandidato for president.
Thank you, Ma'am Amy. VP, last question. Yes, sir. Sir, here's my question.
VP, ano ba yung masasabi natin sa ating current government na everybody is worried na po sa nangyayaring kaguduhan sa ibang bansa, especially may mga OFW po tayo sa Iraq at saka sa Iran. But still, they are thinking of politics pa rin po dito sa ating bansa.
Nakakalungkot dahil as I said, ganyan, no? Scapegoating yung ginagawa. Delikado na yung buhay ng ating mga kababayan doon sa mga bansa na apektado ng kaguluhan sa Middle East. Pero somehow wala pa rin tayong nakikita na concrete plans and actions from the administration on how they will process the repatriation of those who want to come home, or how they will give protection to those who want to stay in the Middle East. Yan po yung trabaho ng gobyerno, pero hindi natin nakikita yung urgency sa mga galaw nila pagdating sa seguridad ng ating mga kababayan sa Middle East. At ang nagagawa lang nila ay binabalik nila sa impeachment yung topic, binabalik nila sa political persecution yung topic, binabalik nila sa pagbisita ko sa ating mga Filipino communities sa iba't ibang bansa. Doon lang nila dinidirect yung attention nila at hindi doon sa mga totoong problema natin, tulad ng dati ko pang sinasabi, 2 taon na pataas ng pataas yung ng pagkain, ng basic necessities. Tumataas din yung nagugutom. Wala tayong food security plan. Plano pa siguro nila na sumali sa kaguluhan, pero wala man silang iniisip kung paano nila masecure o mapanigurado ang seguridad ng mga Pilipino. So,